Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and I'm back out here in my garage for another Garage Gun Talk. And I have to start off this video by apologizing for two things. The first thing is, in yesterday's video, I was not trying to be clickbaity, because this being my behind-the-scenes casual channel, normally I get 300 views on this from the biggest fans of the Texas Gun Vault, that normally it's just us out here in the garage talking about guns, and I'm sharing things that I discover about firearms or what happened at the range or politics or whatever. And last night when I made my video, it was kind of late. I uploaded it and went right to bed. And so maybe I didn't think about the title. So I titled it, I've never seen a semi-automatic pistol do this. Does your P320 do this too? Okay, so maybe in retrospect that was a little bit clickbaity. You guys know I don't like clickbait stuff, and that was not my intention. But last night, as I was going to bed, I had about, I don't know, 100 views on that video, which is typical for like the first hour or so on this behind the scenes channel. And it was pretty good. I was like, okay, I was having some good conversations, looking at the comments, people that watched to the end, my typical viewers. And then I woke up this morning and it had gone, I'm not going to say viral, but it had like 3,000 views, which is unheard of for the Texas Gun Vault 2. And apparently a lot of people found it, maybe because of the clickbaity title. And of course, you have all the weirdos that come out of the woodwork that can't behave like adults. And it's bizarre to me, okay? So that's the first thing, and we're going to address all that in just a moment. The second thing I want to apologize for is I promised you all that I would do better about giving the caveat at the beginning of every video, where I have to remind people this is not my main channel, okay? This is not the Texas Gun Vault. This is the Texas Gun Vault 2, and if you want to follow me on my main channel, there's a link in the description below. It's much bigger than this. It's way more professionally made. I use a professional vlogging camera and sound and all that kind of stuff. This channel is just a channel where I put my phone down on my workbench and just casually talk about guns, things I want to talk about that I can't flesh out into other videos that aren't part of the normal release schedule. Okay? So I apologize about those two things. But let's talk about yesterday's video, and then we're going to talk about how people cannot behave like adults. The first thing that a lot of people were saying is that the issue with the Sig M17X, where I showed, and of course let me safety check the firearm, we're good to go. So when I pull the trigger and I don't let it break, you'll notice the slide back here moves. It comes closer to the frame, and up here at the front you can see that separation more. You can see it move. And I said I discovered this when I was filming the review of it. And this is an aspect of the P320 I was unaware of, right? So in my discussion, as I was creating the video and doing the close-ups of the trigger, I discovered this. And so I wanted to share it with you guys. So there were three people that commented, or three types of people that commented on my video. I had, first off, the very well-intentioned, great viewers, people that I love to interact with, that said, Jason, either they pulled their 320s out of the safe or other guns and told me it either affected their gun too or it didn't. And it was kind of cool to see some people said they didn't have a problem with this. Some people said they did. It was different models. There were some people that were brand new to my channel that had very informative discussions. They're like, hey, this is actually a known issue. I've seen this. Go check this out. Maybe mechanically this is why this is happening, or I don't think it's going to affect accuracy, or it will, or whatever. It was just a great dialogue, and that's the kind of stuff I love to chat with people about. I mean, that's just like the meat and potatoes of this channel and the Texas Gun Vault 2, and why I love the gun community so much. I mean, just so much as positive interactions and learning from other people. But then we had the two other types. You had the people that, I hate to say it, are the Sig lovers and the Sig haters, okay? And sometimes, I guess they're really kind of part of the same group, because they're the people that cannot disconnect their personal enjoyment or like of a gun and criticisms or discussions about that gun, either positive or negative. You guys can probably tell from watching my videos or seeing my discussions here on my channels that I don't really give a flip about what anybody else thinks. There's certain things in the world that I like because I like them, and you can tell me that I am horrible and terrible or whatever. I don't care. I really don't care. Other people's opinions don't matter to me, because the only thing that I care about really in my life is what I enjoy. And when I discover something I enjoy, I'm going to do that thing or pursue that hobby or learn about that thing. In full knowledge that other people might not agree, might not like it, but I don't care, because I'm not hurting them and they're not hurting me, right? So I can like whatever it is, you know. I'm sure I can give a ton of different examples. And people can say, hey, you know, whatever, I don't like this, but I don't get personally hurt, because I'm like, well, they're missing out on whatever it is I enjoy, or I can fully admit that, hey, I like this, no one else does, or vice versa, right? But there's people that can't separate that because they just have to be mean, right? And because either I discussed this, they called me, and we'll go over the comments in a moment. I'll save that to the end. But there were a number of people in the comment section that gave me some ideas. They said, hey, try this. And some people were saying all striker-fired guns do this. So I wanted to test that out. So I got a couple of guns out, plus I also got some snap caps, really only one snap cap, and we'll talk about that in just a second. So I do have the M17X out. I pulled a CZ P10C tactical model. This is an older one in urban gray. I have my personal Glock 19 that I use for concealed carry, and one of my test pistols for the main Texas Gun Vault when I do product reviews. This is my Walther PDP full size. So I wanted to see, first off, if this is something that occurs in other guns, because a lot of people said, how dare you point this out, because all striker-fired guns do this. Okay, well, let's find out together. So once again, let's kind of get our baseline here. So here's our Sig M17X. Okay, so let's look at the rear of this slide. And it comes down. We can see that gap getting smaller as I pull that trigger back. Look at that right there. Okay. And then right here, we can see how it raises the front of the slide. Now, I'm going to talk about some mechanical differences between different striker-fired guns in just a second and what might be causing that. So let's move to the CZ P10C. So I'll do the same thing. It's a striker-fired gun. Of course, I'll safety check the gun. Magazine is out just like it was a moment ago in the Sig. So now let's find out here. So there's the gap, and you can see my finger here. And I'm pulling it back, and I don't really see much of a difference. Okay? So let's take a look at that again. I don't see any difference. The slide doesn't move at all. Here's the front, and this might be better because we can see that gap in the front. I'm pulling that trigger back in here. Let me show you, so no one can accuse me of falsifying things. So I don't really see that jump, okay? So as far as I can tell, if it is doing that, it's on such a small level that I don't notice it, okay? Let's move on to the Walther PDP. Drop the mag. All right. Here is the Walther, and let's see what this one does. So here's my trigger. Make sure you guys can see it. Okay, this trigger is super nice and super light, so it's hard for me to get back to that wall and just pull it back before it breaks, but man, I don't see any motion in that slide. Okay, let me try this one more time. As I said, this is like one of the best striker-fired triggers out there. I don't see it there. Let's check the front gap. I don't see it either. As I said, maybe it's moving just a little bit. I mean, maybe, but it's imperceivable to me, okay? And now everyone says all Glocks do it. So let's find out. Here's my Glock 19. And here is the gap at the back. I don't see it. I don't see it. Do you guys see it? I don't. And as I said, if it is happening, it's imperceivable. Okay? So, that was all the pistols the same way. So a lot of people were saying that all striker-fired handguns do this. I have different makes out here with different mechanical designs. They don't seem to do it. Now, by the way, another caveat for this video, I am not a Sig hater or a Sig lover. I love all guns, okay? And I love learning about guns and talking about guns. And if I hated the Sig, and I was one of those Sig P320 haters, why would I own... Let's see, I have the M17 commercial, the M18 commercial, I have the M17 commemorative, the M18 commemorative, I have an M17 contract overrun, an M18 contract overrun, I have a custom Sig P320 that I built myself from parts from the Sig store. I think that's all my Sig. So what is that? 7 P320s that I own. Okay, so if I was a hater, why would I own those? Okay, so I'm just saying that, and you guys can go back to my main channel and see that I own all this stuff. Okay, so the other thing people said, before we talk about possible mechanical differences, is put a snap cap in it and it won't do that problem. Okay, fair enough. I did not think about that. So, unfortunately, I only own one snap cap at 9mm. I used to own a bunch of these, but I think I left them at the range one time. But I got one left, okay? So maybe this will change something in this gun, okay? It might not be enough, okay? I'm just telling you what I have. So I got one snap cap. So I think the issue is not that it's loaded in the chamber, because that's not going to change anything. People are saying with the snap cap in the magazine, it's going to apply the upward pressure to the slide lug, and it won't do this, okay? So first off, let me make sure the striker is cocked. Okay, so we have that snap cap in there, okay? Here we go. So let's find out what happens. Let's find out what happens. I don't actually know because I have not tried this. Okay, so here we go. Okay, it's doing it a lot less. Okay, it's doing it a lot less. Let's do it again. No, sorry. I forgot. I just loaded that snap cap. Sorry. Let me change this up. And I drop it. Man, I wish I had more of these on hand. I wish I wouldn't have left them at the range that one time. All right, so here we go again. All right, it is definitely not doing it anywhere near as much as it was before. Okay, so I will give you that. Okay, so we're not seeing that. Well, it's moving a little bit. It's still moving a little bit. Not much, though. Not much. So what people are saying are true about that upward pressure on the slide lug, I think is true. Okay, so we've discovered that. But is that still a good design? That even if the magazine is loaded, you still have that downward pressure in the back that doesn't seem to happen on the other pistols. So why is that? And let's talk about the mechanics of this. And one of the commenters made a great point. They said the way that the striker mechanism works in the P320 is that the striker is being pulled down because of the trigger bar. I'll have to go look at some 3D renderings of how the trigger works. But I know what they're talking about because, of course, I've had these guns apart, and I know how they're different than Glocks. And I had to look also at the firing pin safety, because this one I think is activated differently. What they were saying, some commenters were, guns like the Glock, you don't have that downward pressure on the striker, and you also have upwards pressure being applied to the slide because of the trigger bar, because when you pull the trigger, you have that one little nub that comes up that moves back, and that's what depresses the firing pin safety. So if this is the firing pin safety, you have that nub, it comes back, and it pushes that up, so you have upward pressure on the slide. And that's why we don't see that in other guns. Now, some people were also talking about the slides. The rails on the slides. So on the Glock, we have a radius on the rail. So here we have the rails in the back, if you know how Glocks work. You have a radius up here, or a rail here, and you have a rail generally up in this area here. So we have it about that far, okay? On the SIGs, we have it in the fire control unit, so you have it like here and here, so it's a shorter distance, and that's going to give you a lot more play. Just like me doing this with the slide, as you can see, I can compress that. okay? And that's just because the slide rails are so close to each other. On guns like the CZ, I can't do that. Like, I'm pushing that together, and it's not moving that slide. You guys see the difference there? So here's the Sig again, and look how much play is in that. Now, some people are saying that's designed for reliability, to have bigger tolerances. Okay, that's a pretty darn fair point, okay? But the Glock, which was the runner-up in the competition, is also known for its reliability. So let's see what the slide on the Glock looks like. And there's no play. Look at that. So I think what some people said is that these are just cheaply made is true. It doesn't mean that it's a bad gun. And people seem to think if I criticize the gun, it means I think the gun's a piece of junk or you wasted your money or whatever. I could care less. I own 7 of these things. So, I mean, am I calling myself out? I still think they're cool. I still think they're a piece of firearms history because of the adoption of the U.S. military of them. But yeah, that slide is just janky. It's not in that gun very well. No other gun on this table does that. Let's take a look at the Walther. That one might have a little bit more than the others, but I mean, you don't see it moving that much. Am I saying that this is an inferior design? No, I'm not. I'm just OCD about my guns, and there's just things that I notice that I think it's important to tell other people. So, do I hate the Sig? No. Do I love the Sig? No. I have no horse in the race, really, you know? And I have 7 of them, okay? So, that's what's going on this, and I think it's just important for people to know. You can think it's insignificant, and it doesn't matter. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to care about this issue or not. And you can go buy your SIGs and love and shoot them and think there's nothing wrong, but other people might find this intellectually stimulating. And that's what the whole point of the Texas Gun Vault is. All right, so that is my thoughts on that and what I discovered in comparing it to other guns and what people said about the snap caps. It's kind of true. Okay, so we've learned something together. What do you know? That's what the whole Garage Gun Talk's about. All right, so I want to get into the mean comments because there are people that did not know how to behave. So what I'm going to do is, because my phone is about to die, I need to go put it on the charger or bring the charger out here. I'm going to cut away, and then we're going to look at the mean comments and see what people said about my thoughts on the M17X and share those with you. But not everybody cares about that kind of stuff. So if you want to click away now, please do. Word of the day, because that's a tradition here at the Texas Gun Vault 2. If you watch to the end of this segment, the word of the day, use it in the comment, is snap, because of the snap cap. That seems to be the point of contention with a lot of people. So there you go. All right, so let me cut away. Let me go get my phone charger, and let's look at the mean comments from people that don't know how to behave on the internet and think that they are the most important people on or in the world. All right, so here we go, and I'll be right back. All right, and we are back. So let's get into some of the crazy comments and the people that I had to ban from the Texas Gun Vault 2. Now, the first one is not that bad, and as I said in the opening of the video, I'm going to take partial blame on this because it was never my intention to have a clickbaity thumbnail. I don't even think about that here at the Texas Gun Vault 2 because my channel is so small. So the first comment is from Roger Wood 5228, who said, "Clickbait, nothing burger. Dude, put a snap cap in the magazine and do your test again. What you're saying is just dumb." So instead of having an intellectual debate and going, hey, I hear that if you put snap caps in there, this would change it, here's why, he just says that I'm dumb, okay? Now, that's fine. As I said, the first part, I'm going to take complete blame for because I didn't think about the title. And I don't want to be a clickbaity creator. But let me address this issue when it comes to the snap cap, okay? So imagine you go buy a car, and it doesn't even have to be an expensive car. Let's just say you buy a $20,000 entry-level sedan from whatever manufacturer. And when you're driving this vehicle off the lot, driving it home, all of a sudden, let's say the deck lid, the trunk, okay, it starts to vibrate as you're going down the road. And you take it back to the dealership and they say, this is a nothing burger. Just go buy a shim kit. Just, it's that way. It's supposed to be that way. It's a nothing burger. Well, your initial thought's going to be, well, hold on a second here. I just bought a new car, okay? And while I might not be a mechanic or an auto engineer, I have an expectation that my car is going to run a certain way. I've driven other cars. I know what other cars do. So when this car deviates from that behavior, I think there's something wrong. And I have a right to have that opinion. I just spent my hard-earned money on this product. And so whether or not you think it's a big issue, I don't think you should minimize the concerns of other people when you have a gun that is brand new out of the box that does that. Okay? That's just my personal opinion on that. So once again, this is somebody that probably owns a P320, is part of that, oh my God, somebody said something bad about the gun that I own. I must defend my purchase. All right. The next one is... Okay, so this one has... I think this is my favorite of all the comments I got today. Coach-star, or whatever it is, says... Good Lord, imagine being a gun owner and not understanding how or why your gun does something, or that when loaded, it goes away. Yes, it goes away. And then you, but by the way, he does not capitalize you, so obviously he doesn't understand how capitalization works in English. You just jumped on the bandwagon of Glock, and that is a proper noun, should be capitalized as well, clone videos that do this to introduce paranoia and help get you into the algorithm in hopes to get more subs and then continue your cycle of bad videos. There should be a comma or something in there, shouldn't there? I mean, that is pretty bad grammar. And I don't have the best grammar in the world. I always joke is I have a doctorate degree in my field of study, and I always paraphrase what Donald Trump once said, I've written more books than I've read. Okay, so my dissertation is in the Library of Congress. But I hate reading. Reading is the slowest way for me to learn information. I'm an oral learner, so I can listen to lectures and master classes and whatever, and I can just absorb everything I hear. But you ask me to read it, it's terrible. So I understand. I'm not the world's greatest writer, but that is absolutely atrocious, and it's kind of funny that he's criticizing me, and he can't put together a cogent thought. And then the next sentence, which also is not capitalized at the beginning, hope your channel never takes off because hey, at least you got the contraction right. You're the last type of person we need more of on YouTube. Wow. Wow, that is such a nice comment, isn't it? Well, luckily, he doesn't understand this is the Texas Gun Vault 2, I am assuming. And that is just an absolutely mean comment. But guess what? It doesn't bother me. I banned him. And I just wanted to share it with you. Because sometimes you guys don't see what I have to put up with. But I'm going to continue doing what I do. I am the most blessed gun YouTuber in the world. I've told you guys this many times. If you go over to my main channel, you can see all the amazing guns that I have reviewed. Okay? I know, fully aware that there are people out there that are jealous of me because of what I have gotten to shoot and do. Okay? I'm aware of it. I don't want to rub that in people's faces. And I look at this and go, I literally am the most blessed YouTuber out there, and I am so thankful beyond words. And if you go to my main channel, what you don't see is I literally have 90 videos already uploaded and scheduled for release. Right now, if I don't make a single piece of content for the main channel, I have releases 3 a week until February of 2025. That's how many videos I have made and have out there. So I literally am the most blessed YouTuber out there. All right, so let's move on to the next comments. We have, I think there's 2 more. 19 Clutch 69 says, are you an engineer gunsmith? I think it's safe to know all the manufacturers do measurements and tests before the design goes into full production. Well, that is true. I am not an engineer or a gunsmith. And I'm going to tell you, this is an attitude that I feel is very bad for the gun community. And I get this a lot. if I shoot a gun that's a target gun, I tell people I'm not a competitive shooter. But does that mean as a non-competitive shooter, I'm not allowed to have an opinion or a thought on a gun? Let's go back to talking about cars. I'm sure some of you might be in the prime of your life and you have made a lot of money. And you're like, I'm going to go buy this expensive Italian sports car. Okay, so you go buy a Maserati, you go buy a Ferrari, or maybe you just want to buy a Corvette. But you're just a guy that just goes around town, you go run errands, you go to work. Well, should you not have an opinion on that car because you're not a mechanic or you're not a racer? Of course not. You're free to look at these products and have an opinion. You don't have to be an expert in everything because it's impossible to be an expert in everything to have an opinion or a thought or to ask questions. I don't like the elitism that we see in the world today, where if you don't have a degree or you don't do that for a profession, you need to shut up and know your place. I think that is complete and utter bullshit. Because I have discovered in my line of work, the people that are the most successful don't necessarily have degrees. There's more to life than actually what you do, right? So I'm a professional musician and teacher. That's what I do for a living. And I think I have a modicum of success as a gun reviewer. I don't build guns. I don't, sell guns. I don't do anything like that. I'm not in the gun industry. I'm just a dude in his garage that takes guns to the range, amazing guns, which I'm so blessed about, and gets to review them and talk about them. So does that mean because I don't have a degree from Sonora Desert Institute that I'm not allowed to talk about guns? Well, if that's the case, I'm going to ask this guy, Clutch, or whatever he goes by, that he's not allowed to have any opinion on anything if he doesn't do that for a living. And then he says, I think it's crying wolf, in my humble opinion. These striker fired guns are not custom 1911 2011s like from Chambers Accuracy X and the like, where they tell you that grouping at either 25 or even 50 yards is less than 1.5 MOA. Most production guns are not designed with those tolerances in mind, as costs would go significantly up. Well, let's go back to the earlier part of this video where I show you another very affordable gun. I think CZ has this gun under 500. This gun, okay, is over $1,000. Okay, over $1,000. And yes, some of that's going to be the cost of the optic that comes with this package. But the base of this gun, let's just say it's an M17. It's a $700 gun if you buy the commercial edition. Okay, and I'm sorry about my dogs in the background. And this gun right here is under $400 or $500. Let's say it's between $400 and $450. It doesn't have the issue. No issue. So, if it's all about cost, why does the CZ not have it? And the Sig does, in my humble opinion. All right, so now let's go to the other one, the last one. If I can pull it up here. Hopefully I can. All right, here we go. This is RDCTD 6969. Man, people like to have 69 in their names. For someone who claims to be a geek about the minutia of the workings of firearms, you don't know anything about striker-fired guns. They literally all do this. Look up GAP. Your channel won't get big because you're stupid and bloviating. Okay, maybe I am bloviating. I'll give them that one. But I don't think I'm stupid, okay? I like to think I'm pretty intelligent, so anyway, but he says that I'm stupid and that all striker-fired guns do this. Well, let's go over this again. Walther PDP. No, doesn't do it. CZ P10C. Nope, doesn't do it. Glock 19. Nope, I don't see it. No, I don't don't see it. So I think this guy is one of those people that's trying to cope for his purchase. And it's fine. As I said, it's totally cool if you like something that other people don't like. You should embrace it. But you don't have to be a dick to other people about it. Oh, and there is one more thing I discovered about this gun today that we should talk about, okay, when it comes to the issue. And I'm curious what you guys think about this. It also has to do with the slide to frame fit of the Sig. So, let's take a look at the Glock 19. Now, I'm going to pull this trigger and tell me, do you see the slide move forward when the striker falls? I don't, okay? Let's take a look at that again. No. One more time. No, I don't see it. CZ, P10C. I don't see it either. Let's try this again. I'll drop the mag. Nope. Okay, one more. Walther PDP. I don't see it. Now, let's look at the Sig M17X. All right, now, see if that slide moves forward when I pull the trigger and the striker falls. I see it move. Okay, so let's do this again. It moves forward. If you can see it a little bit right here. Okay? One more time. Here we go. Man, it moves. It moves forward. Why? Because when that striker, which is fully cocked, I know they say it's not supposed to be, but I know it's under a lot of tension. When the pressure is released, that slide moves forward. And sometimes, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, is that with some, especially the new P320s, like when you first get them, they actually kind of stick a little bit if they don't go fully into battery. They're enough where they will go off. But like, if the slide doesn't go home a lot or hard, look at that. You see how it moves forward? No other gun here does that. I'm not saying it's a problem. Not saying it's a problem. I'm just saying it's an observation. And it's just something to think about. So that's what I learned. Sorry about the clickbait video. It wasn't my intention. I hope you enjoyed the mean comments. So this is the Texas Gun Vault 2 Garage Gun Talk. And if you watch to the end of this portion, because we like to have this tradition, use the word mean. Because I got some more mean comments. I haven't done those in a while. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about anything I talked about. And thanks for joining me here in the garage. Even the people that think I suck and that my channel shouldn't grow. So, as always, thanks for watching.